Jaya Radha Shri Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Sharanaraganda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajkacharya Stotra Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Mahārāja Parīkṣit ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Ramacharya Śrīla Thakur ki Jai. प्रेम से कल श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कुंड बिहारी गोपी गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की राजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की श्री कुरुक्षेत्र धाम की गंगा माई यमुना माई की वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की श्री श्री देव सदन मंदिर की Dear most merciful Lordship Shri Shri Radha Kunj Bihari ki Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki Shri Srinath Ji Balagopal Giri Govardhan ki Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Itai Gaur Premanande.
Haribo.
All glories to Assembly
Hare
Bodies.
Krishna.
All glories to Assembly
Hare
Bodies.
Krishna.
All glories to Assembly
Hare
Bodies.
Krishna.
All glories, all glories, all glories to the Lord of Feet of Sri Guru and Gauranga Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Welcome to ISKCON Detroit Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam morning class. So today we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, entitled Punishment and Reward of Kali, text number 50. So let us start with invocation prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devam Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayamudiraye
Jayam Adire.
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashtaprayesu Abhadresu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhagavati Nastiki.
Hare Krishna. So welcome to ISKCON Detroit Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam morning class. Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Canto 1, Chapter 17, entitled Punishment and Reward of Kali, text number 15. Anagasu iha bhuteshu yah agas krina nirankusha yah agakrit nirankusha aharatasmi bhujam sakshat amatyasyapi sangadam. Let us go word by word. Anagasu iha, to the offenseless. Bhuteshu, living beings. Ya, the person. Agakrit, commits offense. Nirankusha, upstart. Aharta asmi, I shall bring forth. Bhujam, arms. Sakshat, directly. Amatyasyapi, even one who is a demigod. Sa angadam, with decorations and armor. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki. Translation. An upstart living being who commits offences by torturing those who are offenseless shall be directly uprooted by me, even though he be a denizen of heaven with armor and decorations. Please repeat. An upstart living being who commits offences by torturing those who are offenseless shall be directly uprooted by me, even though he be a denizen of heaven with armor and decorations. Purport. The denizens of the heavenly kingdom are called Amara or deathless due to their possessing a long span of life, far greater than that of the human beings. For a human being who has only maximum 100-year duration of life, a span of life spreading over millions of years is certainly considered to be deathless. For example, from the Bhagavad Gita, we learn that on Brahmaloka planet, the duration of one day is calculated to be, I think it's 4,300,000 solar years. Similarly, in other heavenly planets, one day is calculated to be 6 months of this planet, and the inhabitants get a life of 10 million of their years. Therefore, in all higher planets, since the span of life is far greater than that of human being, the denizens are called deathless by imagination. Although, actually no one within the material universe is deathless. Mahārāja Parīkṣit challenges even such denizens of heaven if they torture the offenseless. This means that the executive head must be as strong as Mahārāja Parīkṣit, so that he may be determined to punish the strongest offenders. It should be the principle of a state executive head that the offender of the courts of God is always punished. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana-Jana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhuryevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, in today's verse, we see that an upstart living being who commits offenses by torturing those who are offenseless shall be directly uprooted by me. Parīkṣit Mahārāja says this. Even though he be a denizen of heaven with armor and decorations. So, if you understand here, suppose if we see someone powerful hurting someone completely innocent, what should a good leader do? He should protest that incident, right? And what if the offender is more powerful than the person being harmed? What if the offender has money, influence, position, connections, or even tremendous authority? People agree that innocent person should be protected. But Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam takes this principle much further. It asks us to consider whether the strength of civilization is measured by how strongly it protects the powerful or by how seriously it protects the defenseless. So this verse gives us very powerful picture of righteous leadership through the example of Mahārāja Parīkṣit. How he was a very ideal leader, how he was a great protector of the living beings, not only human beings but all living entities in his kingdom. So in yesterday's verse we saw that whoever causes offenseless living beings to suffer must fear me anywhere and everywhere in the world. By curbing dishonest miscreants, one automatically benefits the offenseless. Dharma appeared in the form of bull standing on only one leg. Kali was beating the bull and torturing the cow who represented the earth. And Mahārāja Parīkṣit immediately intervened. He did not simply stare at the incident or spectate at the incident. But he did not say that, oh, this is somebody else's problem, this is not my problem. So he recognized that an innocent being was being harmed. And because he was the king, he considered his protection to be his responsibility. And Mahārāja Parīkṣit makes it here a dramatic declaration. Even the denizen of heaven, he will be punished by Mahārāja Parīkṣit if he causes any suffering to the offenseless persons in his kingdom. So, the main question that arises from today's verse is, how strong must a leader be when the innocent are being harmed? And our today's purport gives us that answer. The leader must be strong enough to punish even the strongest offender. And Śrīla Prabhupāda specifically emphasizes this point, that the executive state head must be as strong as Mahārāja Parīkṣit, so that he may be determined to punish the strongest offenders. So our today's discussion is not just about punishment, but it is also about protection, responsibility, fearlessness, justice, dharma, the proper use of authority, and ultimately accountability before God, before Supreme God. What is our responsibility? What is our accountability? So today's mainly we'll see two sections, that protection of the offenseless, the first duty of leadership. And next is no one is above dharma, the courage to punish the powerful. So first comes is like protection of the offenseless. What is the first duty of leadership? Here, what does anagha mean? The verse uses the word anagha, meaning one who is without offense or innocent. Mahārāja Parīkṣit is not primarily concerned with protecting someone because that person is powerful, wealthy or influential, or by protecting him it will be beneficial for kingdom or for king. No, he did not think about anything about that. He is concerned because the person is innocent and being harmed. And this is extremely important in today's modern world. In ordinary worldly thinking, people often protect those who can protect themselves. Like we see how various law and order enforcement we have, like government may strictly enforce some law and orders to protect people. But how effective are those law and orders in because if they are so much effective, the crime rate, how was the crime rate is being increasing day by day. People are like, they are taking so lightly, like, okay, I may get like punishment, I may go take that punishment and come back and again commit the same mistake, right? So here, but righteous leadership asks a different question. Who is vulnerable and who cannot protect themselves? The weaker person need protection precisely because they cannot fight the stronger person. If we see in today's world that if something like if a rich person or a highly wealthy influential person wants to do something and there might be some conflict with some weaker section, automatically, even though there are strict laws and everything, but they try to they try to make that weaker section people understand that they are not able to fight with the influential or wealthy people, even though their laws are supporting for them. They are making the situation in such a way that they cannot fight, they cannot defend themselves while they are fighting with stronger persons. But Parīkṣit Maharaj's time, the weaker person has strongest protection. King provides a stronger protection cover to the weaker section of people. So imagine if two persons are fighting in front of you and both are equally powerful. Is the situation the same as when a powerful person is deliberately attacking someone helpless? No, because the Bhagavata principle recognizes a moral difference. Jai Shri Radha Kunti, Jai Jagannath, Jai Shri. A ruler has special responsibility towards those who are vulnerable. Protection is not just about preventing inconvenience, but protection means standing between adharma and the innocent person who is suffering from it. So, ideal ruler should stand in between, stand for weaker section or innocent persons who are offenseless and who are not able to protect themselves. Like if you see animals, if people try to slaughter them or use to exploit them, the ideal ruler should protect them, should protect the animals, and they are also the citizens of the state. Like they are also inhabited into the state and they are residing into the state, right? So it has to, like, they have to give the protection in order to that living entity will sustain. Otherwise, we see how many endangered species are there now. Like year by year, the list has been increasing, and slowly, like even once a day, once upon a time, there was a huge number of species of variegated population, huge population. But now, like forests are depleting, and people started more and more commercialization, industrialization, through which like forests are being cut off, like deforestation. And then if there are no forests, animals would run to the places where there are household, urban areas and everything, right? So even I see in my hometown, we witness many times like monkeys come to homes and they play and they, whatever we have, like groceries, something, food, fruits, they just grab and they go. Because their natural habitat is being disturbed, their natural habitat is being cut off by the people, and there is no other source for them. So they will obviously come. And in the meantime, some people, in a fear or in order to move them out, they like try to harm them. And in that due process, there might be some loss for the population of those species, right? So naturally, after a few years, if you see, there will be very few animals that we see now also, right? Slowly, it's been a very critical stage, going to critical stage. So it's very important that state, the government, or even little endeavors like to make natural habitat like bird sanctuaries or wildlife parks like that, so that those wildlife will be protected in that safe zone and there will be not coming out in that, and there will be taking care of it in that prescribed zones. So Mahārāja Parīkṣit does not remain neutral over here. If we see at the scene carefully, here the bull is suffering, the cow is suffering, and who is responsible for this is Kali personified. He tried to harm those cow and bull. And Mahārāja Parīkṣit observes the scene and he intervenes, and this is one of the most important characteristics of a responsible leader. A leader cannot say that, oh, I don't want to get involved in this conflict. If the leader has accepted responsibility for protecting people, then refusing to act is itself a failure of responsibility. Because it's your responsibility, you have to take care, and if you are very much sincere in not getting involved in conflicts, you should make a situation that there should be no conflicts, there should be no fightings between any persons. But still, if there is any conflicts, you have to intervene and you have to do right justice to both parties and make the fighting settled. Right? So his position existed for seva, like service and protection. And if we imagine, to take example of a real-time analogy, the lifeguard. Imagine a swimming pool. There are 10 or 15 people swimming. One person suddenly begins drowning because he might be a new learner, or he might not know how to swim properly, right? So the lifeguard does not say that everyone is responsible for their own swimming. That would be so weird and that would be so absurd, right? The lifeguard has accepted a particular responsibility. Therefore, when someone's life is in danger, the lifeguard must act and then rescue him. As much as possible, he has to rescue that person and bring back to the shore, right? So, bring back to the bank. Yeah. Similarly, a parent has responsibility towards his children. A teacher has responsibility towards their students. A manager has responsibility towards employees, and a temple leader has a responsibility in towards his devotees, towards the devotees of the temple of the Krishna. A government has responsibility towards its citizens, and a king and a ruler has responsibility towards the subjects. So authority creates responsibility. The greater the authority, the greater is the responsibility. The higher the position is, the responsibility is increasing. So, we should understand that authority is not meant for our enjoyment. And Śrīla Prabhupāda gives us a very important understanding of kingship. The king is not simply the person who sits at the top. He is the person who carries the meaning, who carries the responsibility of remaining dharma, like maintaining dharma in his kingdom, restoring dharma, and properly dharma is maintained or not. His responsibility is to check that. And in modern terminology, we may think that, oh, I have authority, that means like I possess some power. I do have some power. Oh, I can do this, I can do that with that authority. But that is not the thing. If you have the authority, that means you are responsible for those persons who are working under you, or who are sheltered under you, or taken care of. But the Vedic understanding is closer to that I have authority because I have accepted responsibility. It's my thing, I have accepted that responsibility upon me, so I will take care of that and I will be responsible for that. And when we see the example from Shloka Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 text 8, Krishna explains, Supreme Lord Sri Krishna explains the purpose of his divine intervention. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuga yuge. Krishna says that he appears to protect the devotees, annihilate the miscreants, and establish dharma. Notice the two sides, protection of the righteous and restraint of wrongdoing. This same principle is reflected in Mahārāja Parīkṣit's behavior because he is the representative of Krishna to his kingdom. He has to make everyone to be spiritually conscious and devoted to Supreme Lord Krishna and engage them in devotional service to Krishna. He is not looking for violence. He is responding to violence that has already been committed against the innocent. And protection does not mean just like sentimentality. Protection does not mean allowing everyone to do whatever they want. Oh, we are under his protection, now we can do whatever we want. No, that is not right thing. Sometimes people misunderstand compassion to be like unworthy or cowardliness, right? So, if they think that if I am compassionate, I should never punish anyone. But Śrīla Prabhupāda's purport gives us a different understanding. If someone is harming the innocent, allowing that person to continue is not necessarily compassion. It is just like acting off your responsibility. You are backing off your responsibility. In fact, it may become cruelty towards the victim. You are acting very cruel to the victim, towards the victim. The true compassion protects the innocent from exploitation. Most of us may think that we are not kings, but this verse is about Mahārāja Parīkṣit and governments. What does it have to do with me? Many people may think like that. But we all possess some degree of authority, like our family or our mind, our senses. We do have some authority, or we do have some groups like devotee groups or whatever, if you are taking care of some devotee groups there. So, or do I have, we should ask like authority over children or influence over younger devotees, or who come for my guidance, people who come for the guidance, or am I responsible for a service, or having influence in my workplace, like colleagues, that, or who trust me with confidential matters, or wherever there is influence, there is responsibility. So therefore, this verse is not only teaching us how a king should behave, but it is teaching us what responsible influence looks like. Because everyone, if they are responsible, then there is a least possible happenings of crime or many other social conflicts or afflictions in the society, right? And next comes is like, no one is above dharma, the courage to punish the powerful. Mahārāja Parīkṣit says that even if the offender is amartya or a denizen of heaven, he should be punished, he will be punished. What does amartya mean? Śrīla Prabhupāda explains that inhabitants of heavenly planets are called amartya or deathless because they possess extraordinarily long lifespans. They possess long lifespan, but they also temporary only. When compared to us, it is more. But they are also part of material universe. When everything gets annihilated, their lifetime is also getting annihilated. And even if it not getting annihilated also, after their stipulated lifetime, they may end up their life in that planet, and they may go into other planet. Like if they are constantly engaged in service of Krishna, like Krishna takes care of them and they may return to spiritual planet. Otherwise, if they don't utilize that opportunity, they may fall down to even earthly planet also, right? So it is like that. So if we even see from chapter 8 of Bhagavad Gita, text 17, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Ahar Yad Brahmano Viduhu. The duration of Brahma's day is described as 1000 cycles of Chatur Yugas, like all the Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, all combined 1000 times, 1000 cycles of all these 4 yugas is like Brahma's day, the duration of Brahma's day. So it's like long life does not equal immortality, because everyone is in the material universe itself. One day or other, they have to leave their body, they have to end their life, because there is restriction that this is material universe is temporary. Even the higher planetary systems, the lifeline may be higher, but it is temporary only. Suppose someone has $1 million. Does that mean he is above the law? No. Law is same for 1 million holder or a poor person or a daily wage person or anyone. Like it is equal for anyone, equal for everyone, right? Money gives someone resources or some position or some opulence, but it does not give someone moral immunity, or it does not award someone immortality. What if someone has $1 billion? Still, he is not above the law. He has to he has to obey the law. He has to abide the law and rules and regulations. Otherwise, he will be in trouble. What if he is extremely famous? Still, he should abide the law. What if he has tremendous political influence? Still, he is not above dharma. He may try to escape from the state laws, but the laws of God, the laws of nature, doesn't allow him to escape, right? Everyone is equal in the eyes of Supreme God, Krishna. Right? Similarly, what the person who is a denizen of heaven lives for millions of years, still he is not immortal, he is mortal. Like one day or other, he has to leave his body. So, material superiority does not create spiritual immunity. And why does Parīkṣit Maharaj mention heavenly beings? Because this Kali is just an earthly personality, but why did he mention heavenly beings? Because he is essentially saying that I am not afraid of your position. Even though you are this earthly planet person, or an upper planetary system person, or you belong to heavenly planet or whatever planet, if you if you harm the offenseless people, I will gonna punish you. That's for sure. Irrespective of your position, whatever your position might be. You may be powerful, you may possess extraordinary abilities, you may have wealth, you may have prestige, you may even be a resident of heaven. But if you deliberately torture the offenseless, you are accountable for your actions. So this is the right strength, this is the strength of righteous leadership. And in a dharmic society, justice should not depend upon the social status of the offender. The same principle is found repeatedly in the history of Mahārāja. Great personalities are praised not just because they possess power, but because they are willing to use that power according to dharma. And the classic example for this is Yudhishthira Maharaj. His title is Dharmaraja, was not simply a compliment, but his identity as a ruler was connected with his commitment to dharma. The Mahabharata repeatedly presents Rajarshi, the ideal of ruler, who combines administrative responsibility with spiritual principles. Right? So, even when we see in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in text 43, Krishna mentions the qualities of a Kshatriya. Shauryam tejo dhritirdakshyam yudde chapi apalyana dhanam ishvara bhavascha kshatram karma svabhavajam. These include courage, strength, determination, resourcefulness, not fleeing from battle, generosity, leadership. If we notice something, leadership requires courage, because sometimes doing the right thing will be uncomfortable. Sometimes the offender will be powerful. Sometimes the people will criticize leader. You may have to face the criticism sometimes. Sometimes the leader will lose popularity. Sometimes there may be personal consequences also. But still, their dharmic leadership requires that I will do right, whatever is right, even when it is difficult times also. Irrespective of any time, I will do right thing only. That is the true qualification of a dharmic leader. And why does Śrīla Prabhupāda say that strongest offenders? Because it is easy to act against someone who has no power, but it is very difficult to act upon opposite to a person who is very powerful or very strong, right? The real test comes when the offender is very powerful. When he is very powerful than you, then there is a real test for the leader. So, dharma requires consistency. The principle cannot change just because the offender becomes powerful. Mahārāja Parīkṣit is strong, but he is not cruel. His strength is directed towards protection, but not exploitation. There is a huge difference between power which is used for domination and power which is used for protection. Kali uses strength to harm, but Mahārāja Parīkṣit uses his strength to protect. Therefore, the problem is not power. The problem is power separated from dharma. If it is combined with dharma, it is very good and auspicious for everyone. But if it is not, if it is separated, then it is like very dangerous. And when leaders refuse to punish wrongdoing, offenders become more and more confident. And we see like now how the persons who are committing crime, they are increasing, and their tendency to crime is being also increasing because they are not facing that severe punishment, or there is no change in their consciousness that, oh, if I commit crime, I will be getting so much punishment later days. They are just simply, they are managing by their influence or some political influence or some wealth. They are managing everything, they are getting through some loopholes in the law or something. And even sometimes like justice, even if they commit crime today, but the justice is like the decision is being delivered after 5-6 years. So these 5-6 years still they are like free and they are ready to enjoy their life, and whatever they want they can do in that. So it's not good. Innocent people become fearful. Eventually wrongdoing becomes normalized. Previously, if in that age, harming the animals is very astonishing thing, but now it's slaughterhouses are very common nowadays. We see how many animals are being slaughtered nowadays. Once that mentality develops, that people begin thinking nothing will happen. Oh, everybody is doing, I am also doing. Everybody is purchasing, I am also purchasing. This mentality, when it develops, adharma becomes stronger and stronger and prominent in the society. Kali represents the influence of irreligion. When there is no effective protection of dharma, Kali finds an opportunity to expand. Therefore, a leader's inaction can indirectly empower adharma. So it's very important for a leader to act righteously and promptly and right at that situation, not delaying also. A righteous leader does not merely act emotionally. He establishes boundaries, he controls the environment in which adharma can operate. So, if we see the analogy of a security system of the mind, imagine your mind as a building. Not every person who comes to the door should be allowed inside. A security system checks like, who are you, what are you bringing, are you authorized to enter. Similarly, a serious sadhaka must develop discrimination. Not every thought deserves acceptance. Not every desire deserves fulfillment. As soon as you get some desire, I should strive to get it fulfilled. No. Not every influence deserves access. You got influenced from that video or that marketing promotional video or something, or you just go and purchase that item or product. No, it's not like that. We should try to, sincere practitioner of devotional service will try to segregate that what is good. Is this thought pleasing Krishna, or is this action of mine will please Krishna or not? We should try to differentiate between the thoughts, like what are good, what are bad. So this is one of the practical way we can follow the principle that is being demonstrated by Mahārāja Parīkṣit. And also, it should not be like leaders. Now we see some leaders, as soon as they get into power, they start taking revenge, the personal revenges which they have in previous times. If they have someone enmity over others, like they come and they try to take action over others, like, you have done something wrong, right? Now I have power, I will harm you, I will personally take revenge on you. No, that's not true thing. Mahārāja Parīkṣit here is not saying that, you offended me, therefore I will destroy you. No, he is responding in this manner because he is harming the offenseless. Kali is harming the offenseless, poor living entities. But Parīkṣit Maharaj acted here on the basis of dharmic responsibility. The motive determines the nature of the action. Dharma requires courage when adharma is powerful. No position, wealth, prestige or material power places someone beyond accountability. And the four major takeaways from today's verse is leadership means protection and compassion requires courage sometimes. Therefore, true compassion is not passive and no one is above dharma. Material position does not erase accountability. Even if you are from a higher position, but still if you have committed something wrong, you are accountable for that. You are responsible for your actions and you have to face the consequences of that action. And strength must serve dharma. Mahārāja Parīkṣit's strength is not for personal domination, but his strength is he used for protection. And that is the ideal of the righteous leadership. And the authority should be like an umbrella. Imagine how an umbrella protecting us from rain. When we go out, we carry an umbrella when it is heavily raining. So how even a single drop of rain droplet will not touch you. The umbrella protects like a shield, right? So similarly, the authority should be like that. It is to protect all the persons or people or even living beings who are under its shelter. So authority should be like that. So the final takeaways are: protect the offenseless. A righteous person does not measure someone's worth by their power. The vulnerable deserve protection. Authority is responsibility. The higher our position, the greater our responsibility to protect others. Compassion is not weakness. Sometimes the most compassionate action is to stop harmful behavior. Power does not cancel accountability. Even heavenly beings with enormous lifespans are still within the material world only and subjected to the laws of God. And dharma requires courage. The real test of leadership comes when the offender is stronger, wealthier, or more influential than the victim. And we must use strength not for exploitation but for protection of others. So Mahārāja Parīkṣit practically teaches us that strength becomes glorious when it is placed in the service of dharma. So I would like to conclude by this. And if you have any questions, comments, realizations?
So would you add a couple of comments? Everything that Parīkṣit Mahārāja is talking about as far as good qualities in a leader is the complete opposite of the leadership we have right now. Everything Parīkṣit was talking about, protecting the poor, protecting the animals, being fair, protecting the innocent. People's medical benefits have been taken away from them. Their housing has been taken away from them. Their homes have been taken away from them. There's no funding now for rangers for national parks. So there's no animal protection. There is no accountability. This country has elected a known criminal as their leader. Everyone in this country knew the man was a criminal before they went to the polls and elected him. So it's almost like Kali Yuga has personified itself in our current leadership. It's just the epitome, the opposite of everything leaders, the opposite of everything caring.
It will be more degraded probably.
And it's not going to get better.
As the time progresses, still. Today you may see like one ruler or one person, but there might be after a few years, if we are there, we will be able to see like all the rulers will be maybe like that. We don't know the age and the influence of Kali and Maya are so powerful in this age. If people are not not considering their consciousness and they are not making their consciousness right in righteous way, it will influence everyone's mind. Like upon seeing rulers, people also like, oh, they are not getting harmed, and I'll also commit whatever I can. I will do like small robbery or small theft.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, our leader is a convicted criminal. Yeah. But thank you for class. That was very nice to hear that.
Grantara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki
Jai.
Śrīla Prabhupāda ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.